There are a lot of elements of our lives we don't choose or have control over. It's a process that starts the day we are born. You don't pick your first language, you don't choose your first school, and you can't control what attitudes your parents instill in you. Parents, peers, teachers, religion, all these influences instill a set of rules in us. And as children, we have no power over them. We are rewarded when we do good and punished when we step out of line. Compound this for almost 2 decades and you become someone who's chasing brownie points, afraid of rejection, and someone who's not questioning society's rules. The Four Agreements is a book that sold over 6 million copies, written by Don Miguel Ruiz, and has spent 8 years on the New York Times bestseller list. In this book he argues that we need to break the rules that have been instilled in us and make only 4 agreements with ourselves to live a purposeful life. I am going to cover each agreement separately in each video in the weeks to come because I really want to get into it. Hang on to your chairs because it's about to get a little floaty. Let's begin. The first agreement from Ruiz is immediately the most important one, and also the most difficult to honor. It is so important that just with this agreement you will be able to create what he calls heaven on earth. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. It sounds very simple, but it's very, very powerful. Through the word you express your creative power. It is through the word that you can manifest everything. Regardless of what language you speak, your intent manifests through the word. Now the word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think and thereby to create the events in your life. The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is the tool of magic. But like a sword with 2 edges, your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. One edge of the word is the misuse of the word, which creates a living hell. The other edge of the sword is the impeccability of the word, which will only create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Depending on how it is used, the word can set you free or it can enslave you, more than you know. By hooking our attention, the word can enter our mind and change a whole belief for better or worse. Now let's quickly see what the word impeccability means. Impeccability means without sin. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. You go against yourself when you judge or blame yourself for anything and thus committing a sin. Being without sin is exactly the opposite. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your action, but you do not judge or blame yourself. From this point of view, the whole concept of sin changes from something moral or religious to common sense. If I see you on the street and I call you stupid, it appears that I'm using the word against you. But really, I'm just using the word against myself, because you're going to hate me for this, and you hating me is not good for me. Therefore, if I get angry with my word, I send all that emotional poison to you. There's a good chance it's gonna come back to me. If I love myself, I will express that love in my interaction with you. And then I'm being impeccable with my word, because that action will produce a similar reaction. If I love you, you will love me. If I insult you, you will insult me. If I have gratitude for you, you will have gratitude for me. And if I'm selfish with you, you will be selfish with me. Making this agreement is difficult because we have learned to do precisely the opposite. We have learned to lie as a habit of our communication with others and, more importantly, with ourselves. In this case, the power of the word is completely misused. We use the word to blame, to find guilt, to destroy. Of course, we also use it the right way, but not too often. We use the word to create hate between different races, between different people, between families and between nations. Misuse of the word is how we pull each other down and keep each other in a state of fear and doubt. There was a woman, for example, who was very intelligent and had a very good heart. She had a daughter whom she adored and loved very much. One night she came home from a very bad day at work, tired, full of emotional tension and with a terrible headache. She wanted peace and quiet, but her daughter was singing and jumping happily. The daughter, of course, was unaware of how the mother was feeling. She was in her own world, in her own dream. She felt so wonderful and she was jumping and singing louder and louder, expressing her joy and her love. At this point the mother lost control. Angrily she looked up at her beautiful little girl and said, "Shut up! You have an ugly voice, can you just shut up?" Now the truth is that the mother's tolerance for any noise was non-existent. It wasn't that the little girl's voice was ugly, but the daughter believed what her mother said, and in that moment she made an agreement with herself. After that she no longer sang, because she believed her voice was ugly and would bother anyone who heard it. Everything changed in this little girl's life because of this new agreement. She believed she must repress her emotions in order to be accepted and loved. This girl grew up, and even though she had a beautiful voice, she never sang again. If we adopt the first agreement and become impeccable with our words, any emotional poison will eventually be cleaned from our minds and from our communication in our personal relationships. When you are impeccable with your words, you feel good, you feel happy, and most importantly, you are at peace. You can transcend the dream of hell just by making the agreement to be impeccable with your words. Right now I'm planting that seed in your mind. Whether or not the seed grows depends upon how fertile your mind is. It is up to you to make this agreement with yourself. Be impeccable with your word. According to Ruiz, this is the first agreement that you should make if you want to be free. It is very powerful. With the impeccability of the word, you can transcend the dream of fear and live a different life. You can live in heaven in the middle of thousands of people living in hell, because you are immune to that hell. Thank you for watching my video. I know it's a little bit of a heavy subject matter, but I hope it had some value for you. If it did, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to support me. Like I said, I will do a video on each of the agreements from Ruiz, so keep tuned in the coming weeks for the next videos. If you're interested in the book yourself, there's a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.